Hello everybody, this is Refresh and I'm here to build a Ravnica Allegiance seal deck for you. This is my second seal deck. You can see a link to the other seal deck in the description box below. And I'm going to open these packs, build the seal deck, and then play it against the other seal deck as well as some challenge decks. Let's get started by opening the packs. Pack number 1. We have Sage's Row Savant, Rubble Belt Recluse, Arrester's Zeal, Slimebind, Axebane Beast, Footline Fiend, Ill-Gotten Inheritance, Get the Point, Watchful Giant, Aeromunculus, Angelic Exaltation, Sphinx of the Guild Pact, Macabre Mockery, Ethereal Absolution, Rakdos Guildgate, and an Ooze token. Second pack gets us the Twilight Panther, Persistent Petitioners, Scorchmark, Footlight Fiend, Open the Gates, Grasping Thrall, Skitter Eel, Debtor's Transport, Orzhov Locket, Frenzied Erynx, Shark to Crab, Clamor Shaman, Dovin's Acuity, Precognitive Perception, Orzhov Guildgate, and an Illusion token. Third pack gets us a Shimmer of Possibility, Arrester's Zeal, Rubble Slinger, Territorial Boar, Undercity's Embrace, Wrecking Beast, Skitter Eel, Deface, Orzhov Locket, Sunder Shaman, Rally to Battle, Knight of the Last Breath, Nikya of the Old Ways, Skitter Eel in Shiny, Orzhov Guildgate, and a Spirit token. Next pack gets us a Feral Macaw, Coral Commando, Bring to Trial, Undercity's Embrace, Stony Strength, Skewer the Critics, Blade Brand, Azorius Locket, Rafter Demon, Root Snare, Gate Colossus, Collision Colossus, Tower Defense, Theater of Horrors, Rakdos Guildgate, and an emblem for Domri. Our fifth pack starts with a Quench, a Concordia Pegasus, a Spear Spewer, a Stony Strength, Rakdos Roustabout, Final Payment, Justicar's Portal, Blade Juggler, Goblin Gathering, Eyes Everywhere, Rakdos Firewheeler, Azorius Skyguard, Kaya's Wrath, Clear the Stage in Shiny, Azorius Guildgate, and a zombie token. We get a Storm Strike, Shimmer of Possibility, Prowling Caracol, Thirsting Shade, Sylvan Bustrider, Undercity Scavenger, Summary Judgment, Goblin Gathering, Blade Juggler, Rakdos Locket, a Depose Deploy, Terramander, Resolute Watchdog, Awaken the Erstwhile, a Gruel Guildgate, and an Ooze token. Alright, I think the first thing that we do is that we take a look at our guilds and see which one is the strongest and sort of see which deck builds the best after that. Alright, let's go ahead and start with Azorius. Alright, the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to note that we are really short on creatures and we have a lot of spells. Now, we can say that this is a 4-mana creature, but even of these spells, we're probably not going to play some number of them because they're not terribly good. So I think that Azorius is just out because the numbers aren't there in terms of the creatures. We have 14 creatures, many of which we don't want to play, and I don't think the spells here support the number of creatures that we have. Even though we have the right number of cards, they're not in the right division. Next, we'll take a look at Orzhov. Like Azorius, Orzhov is really short on creatures. We have 12 creatures and a lot of spells. Now, some of these spells are incredibly powerful. Ethereal Absolution, Kaya's Wrath, Ill-Gotten Inheritance, Final Payment. These are all cards that I would love to have in a deck, but we're not getting there in terms of the creatures. Like, we're just going to get run over before we can cast our expensive spells, and some of the, one of them costs 7 mana. And so even with powerful cards like Ethereal Absolution, which we would gladly play, we can't really play Orzhov. Goodbye Kaya's Wrath. We might still splash for Ethereal Absolution or Final Payment, maybe Grasping Thrall in the right deck. Next we'll take a look at Rakdos. Alright, this is still really scant on creatures, but we have some pseudo creatures in the Goblin Gathering, which kind of act as a few more 1-drops that I could possibly sacrifice. And we have some decent spells here. Again, there's not a lot that is amazing here, but we have more removal here, and we have additional card draw in the form of the Theater of Horrors to get us a little further. So right now, this looks like the stronger deck. It's still not a great deck. There's not a lot of synergy here, and I wouldn't be excited to play with this particular deck. But currently, this is the most likely to be played. I mean, I'm not going to play Awaken the Erstwhile, and then I'm not going to play Macabre Mockery. There's a lot of things I'm not going to play in this deck, but it is more playable, I think, than any of the decks that have come before it. Next, we're going to try a Garul deck. This is not terribly exciting. Again, like with all the other decks, we're still quite low on creatures, and we don't really have much in the way of really powerful cards that make me want to play this particular deck. And so I think that the Gruul deck is also out of the question. Finally, let's look at what Simic would offer us. Like all of our previous choices, this is also very light on creatures, and I don't think it has enough punch, even with a nice precognitive petition and, you know, some amount of adapt to get there. So I think we're going to go back to our Rakdos deck and see if we can augment it in one way or another. Alright, our choices are to splash into Gruul for green, and we have a Gruul Guildgate to help us get there. Or we can splash into Orzhov. We have 2 Guildgates to help us get there for white. It's obvious that we want to splash for white. 1, it's easier to fix. 2, we get Ethereal Absolution, which is a bomb just by itself. We can even play a Grasping Thrall and a Final Payment. And I think that's good enough. So now we'll make some cuts. I think the easiest things that we do is cut the spells that are not very good. Deface is clearly out. It's a situational sideboard card. I don't think we need the Locket. I think Macabre Mockery is far too temporary. Awaken the Erstwhile is too conditional. We'll probably get rid of the Storm Strike. It's not really what this deck is good at. I think Undercity's Embrace is probably the worst of the removals, so we'll remove those as well. And I think this ends where we are at with spells. We want to keep all the removal, and I think the Blade Brand is just good enough as an Erstwhile removal to keep it. Ill-Gotten Inheritance and Ethereal Absolution are ways to win the game. That takes us to 9 spells, which is a lot of spells. We also like Theater of Horrors because it is a chance to draw cards, so I like this as well. Which means that we only need 14 creatures. So what are we looking at in terms of creatures here? We have 17, so we want to make 4 more cuts out of the creatures. On the cutting block are Rafter Demon, which is pretty suboptimal. If this were flying, I think it would be in question, but as a 4/2 that sometimes for 5 mana forces your opponent to discard a card, it's pretty suboptimal. I think Thirsting Shade is okay, but as far as being a mana sink goes, but it's just so costly for so little reward that I think this is out as well. And then we just need to make 1 more cut. It actually might be Clear the Stage, even though it is removal, it's expensive, and I think there's only 3 cards in this entire set of cards here that can actually trigger its later ability. So it is out. And then this is our deck. Let's take a look at our numbers here. We have 3 white symbols, 15 red symbols, 16 black symbols. So we're primarily Rakdos with a bit of a splash. We already have 4 black right here, and 4 out of our 17 lands are covered, so we only need 13 more lands. We'll probably have 4 swamps, 6 mountains, which is 14 to get us to 8 and 8. We probably want 2 planes to cover the 3 cards that we're splashing for. So maybe we actually want an extra land of one color or another. Now looking at our curve here, it looks like we actually have a lot more in red at the bottom. So even though we have slightly more black pips, I think we want one more red pip in order to be able to make sure that we hit the bottom end here. So we're going to take 4 swamps, 7 mountains, and 2 plains. There's 4 swamps for 8 black sources, 7 mountains for 9 red sources, 2 plains for 4 white sources. And that is a total of 4 plus 4 is 8, plus 7 is 15, plus 2 is 17. We'll sleeve this up and we'll see how the games go. Let me know what you thought about this deck build in the comments below. If you would have built the deck differently, also let me know so that I can learn from your wisdom. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button. If you'd like to see more such videos, hit subscribe. Next time I'll be putting these decks up against each other. Until then, this is Refresh and thanks for watching.